program Travel World. We will discuss about situation of tourism around the world, especially in India, and the way out. We have Mr. Suman Billa, Director Technical Cooperation and Silk Route Development, UNWTO. Mrs. Rupinder Barar, Additional Director General, Tourism, Government of India. Mr. Subhash Goel, Honorary Secretary Faith and Chairman, Stick Travels. Mr. E.M. Najib, President, Confederation of Kerala Tourism Industry. And I welcome all panelists to today's program of Travel World. Let's start with Mrs. Barar. Mrs. Barar, recently Minister of Tourism said we will be able to double the number of 2019 figure by 2024. What's your comment on that? Do you think at this situation we will be able to achieve the target?
Our viewers, thank you, Anilji, for posing such a positive question right at the outset that Honorable Minister of Tourism and Culture has mentioned that doubling of tourists to India, and therefore I'm assuming in your question that you're talking about both domestic and international tourists, shall definitely happen in the coming times. Your question I can answer in so many ways, but I will say it in one simple sentence first to begin with, that we are very, very positive and we are extremely confident that India and Incredible India as a tourism product, as a concept, is something very robust and very strong. And while COVID has definitely created some sort of a deceleration for now, it's like a blip, but we shall be on top of it very soon. As a country, we are battling with COVID also very strongly. Data already suggests that as a nation, we are battling, but the figures and the statistics that stand as on today, we are fairly strong as a country in dealing with it, and we shall continue to remain. And that itself gives us that confidence that as a nation, as a civilization which extends back to thousands of years, there must be something right in what we do as a nation, as a people, which will be very attractive for the world to come and visit and see the splendor that is Incredible India.
Sabila, do you agree with the minister? We'll be able to achieve that double the target? By when you think we'll be able to achieve the figure of 2019?
There is a study by the UNWTO which says that it will take 7 years for the industry to bounce back to 2019 levels. But that is from a global perspective. But considering India's situation and considering that we have a strong, robust domestic demand and we have purchasing power and our base is small, I think for the Indian market, the recovery period must be much shorter. I would think anywhere between 2 to 3 years should be a reasonable time for the Indian tourism industry to bounce back. If not bounce back to the exact levels as 2019, I think come back to almost the same levels. I think a 2 to 3 year time period should work.
Mr. Goyal, what's your take on this?
I think we would have achieved if this corona crisis would not have been there. With this crisis, you see, people will not travel. Even after the vaccine is discovered, people will not travel as freely as they want to. So, I don't know whether we'll be able to double the figures. It's a very ambitious target, but I believe that the target should always be ambitious. But even if we are able to achieve what we had done over 10 million in 2019, and if we are able to reach 12 to 13 million, I think it will be something to be satisfied. But, after 1 year or after 1.5 years of the vaccine being discovered, then we have to aggressively go marketing. If we may not be able to achieve in 5 years, maybe we'll achieve in 6, 7 years. But yes, we are all with the government. We are all with the vision of our Prime Minister that we shall overcome and we shall leave no stone unturned in order to double our figures.
The world is gradually opening up, but fear factor is there, which is affecting tourism adversely. What's your views on this?
I think the fear factor is receding slowly, because one of the good things about what we see is that the mortality rate on account of COVID in India is much below the global benchmark that we have seen so far. So I think even though we have that problem, I think we are coping reasonably well. Second is, we are also seeing that countries like Italy and Spain have opened up, and they seem to be doing reasonably well. In fact, Spain has now gone into the second phase, and virtually everything is, is almost opened up, with social distancing norms, of course. And I think the prognosis thus far has been good. So I think the good thing is that we know that we can open up even without the vaccine. And if the trends hold good, I think that will be the trend all across. So, to my mind, I think the fear factor will be there, but it will be quickly overcome by the industry.
Mrs. Barar, how important this fear factor is and how you are planning to handle this?
Yes, Anil, I think that's a very pertinent question again, because in coming times, nearby tourism, domestic tourism, and travel by road also, these are the sounds that we are hearing. And not only for India, I think UNWTO has also come with similar kind of analysis. WTTC also has a similar analysis that most countries, when they open, there is urge to travel. It's a very natural human urge to travel. So people are kind of, I think, waiting to travel out. But they would be definitely safer, or the perception of being safer at least will be closer home. But as a ministry, our effort is to create that sense of confidence and to dispel any such fears. We want to educate our potential travelers, both domestic and international, also as time goes by, that yes, we have to be careful, because as we all realize, the virus is certainly very, very virulent, and is and has brought the whole world, to a standstill. So we have to really be prepared to deal with the virus. We cannot drop our guard, but at the same time, there is no need to be fearful of it. Take the adequate precautions, wear the mask, sanitize, wash your hands. All that has to be done to drive home that confidence. That is why the guidelines which we have sent out on 8th of June for the opening, the operational guidelines that have gone to the different stakeholders, is a step in that process. At the very same time, we are trying to put out the same messaging through our social media. We are also planning very soon to have a webinar, which we are doing as part of Dekho Apna Desh campaigns. Very soon we shall have a webinar on public health, where a lot of more, I should say, proper professional information shall be given out to what should be done, the do's and the don'ts in the times of COVID, particularly from the tourism perspective. So these kind of things we are trying to, sort of bring in public domain, so that people feel confident that when they head out of their homes, then our stakeholders, the hoteliers or transport providers, the tourist facilitators and restaurants, everybody is in a state of preparedness. So that messaging is very important. We understand the role of messaging, and we are sending out that messaging.
Nazir, what is the situation of travel trade today?
All of us are aware that the tourism industry is very badly hit, and probably the worst hit due to COVID-19. The whole world is facing crisis, especially tourism industry. The entrepreneurs and the staff members of the tourism industry are very anxious to come out of this problem and start their normal operations at the earliest. Most of the businesses have been started after the restrictions have been relaxed by state governments and various governments in various countries. So it's important that tourism industry has to come back to normal at the earliest, because millions of people are working in the industry nationally as well as internationally. The staff members are facing a lot of crisis of termination of jobs and so on. The entrepreneurs are facing a lot of crisis because of no economic activity, and they have to meet their expenses and so on. So it's a bad situation for the tourism industry because absolutely there is no income and there is no signs of any income in the coming months. So how to revive and how to move forward and bring back the normalcy on the industry is a big question in front of all of us. All of the people who are working in the tourism industry is always very passionate, very aggressive in promoting their products and their destinations and their packages. Especially the tour operating community has been promoting destinations and countries very well. They take the lead, and all the others get the benefits for their efforts. So my take on this is that we should not be disappointed. We should not be desperate. We should not, too much worried about this, even though we are facing such a crisis situation now. Look at the past. We have faced several crisis situations in the past.
This is Bara. On all forums, in all discussions, one thing came out: domestic tourism is the key to success. How you are planning to promote domestic tourism?
That domestic tourism is the way forward? Yes, definitely. In fact, that is something I have been saying on other platforms also, that in India, when on 15th August 2019, the Honorable Prime Minister of the country mentioned the need and urged all Indians that please visit 15 places at least by 2022, he was reminding all of us that somewhere we are not doing enough to go and visit the splendid things that our own country has to offer. And I think taking cue from that, we started the Dekho Apna Desh campaign. We had the pledge movement, which MyGov ran for us. So we were already, in fact, inching towards pushing. But COVID has further given us incentive and has reminded us that there is so much potential in domestic tourism, which we have not, in fact, been tapping. So towards that, number of things are being done. One of the things, because actual travel cannot happen right now, we are trying to bring to all viewers, both in India and worldwide, the relatively lesser known, sometimes the known places also, through our webinars. These webinars are part of the Dekho Apna Desh campaign, and they bring different elements of our country, not only the geographical, but also the themes behind. So there has been golfing, there has been cycling, there has been wildlife tourism. We have gone to Ladakh, we have gone to Sikkim, we have gone to Bengal, we have gone down to Mahabalipuram, and we have gone to 32 different webinars have already been conducted. Each of them is getting fantastic response. People like you have been supporting us in giving it out in public domain. That is helping. In the meantime, we are also trying to do a lot of sessions with the travel and the trade industry to figure out from them that what kind of content they want us to pitch in the times to come, so that that kind of content can then be generated. We are also trying to host small webinars. We can't exactly do buyer seller meets right now, but we are trying to do some virtual buyer seller meets in a very small manner, so that at least optimism is there and there is some homework at least being done, so that the moment travel happens, then we are ready. The Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, has also had a long, extensive discussion with the state tourism secretaries to craft and create the small itineraries which are interstate and intrastate. So from Maharashtra, you could be traveling to a neighboring state, maybe a drivable distance, and also crafting small itineraries that may be one night or two night stopovers or even day picnics intrastate. So all the state tourism secretaries have been told to send us database on that. We shall be putting it out on our Incredible India website for all travelers to see that where could all they visit in times to come. So such kind of similar initiatives are being done at various levels. The regional directors that we have across India have also been sensitized to work together with state governments, to work together with tour operators, to bring out those unusual, unknown, unseen places, so that people actually find that, okay, their imagination is being tickled. That, oh, I never knew that this exists. And you'll be surprised, Anil, that when we ran a webinar on River Nilla in Kerala, a lot of Keralites turned back to tell me, oh, we never knew the River Nilla is so beautiful. We always thought Kovalam jana hai, Munnar jana hai. So I think India has remained unexplored for all of us. And we will be doing a lot much more to bring the unexplored India to Indians to travel within their country. And then also reminding the travelers from out of India that please come and see the incredible India.
Sevilla, how do you see the world tourism scenario today?
I think the global situation that we see today for tourism looks encouraging because countries which have gone through with the first wave of infections, especially in Spain and Europe, like Spain, Italy, etc., they have all come back on stream. From today onwards, Spain is opened up and gone into phase 2, which means it's virtually everything is open except a few hand-picked activities. And from July onwards, they are also going to move into a no quarantine for foreign visitors coming into the country. So all these trends are encouraging because we think that those who have already had to face the brunt and they are coming out of it are doing a reasonably good job without having to fall back. So I think for India's situation, we will have to see for another month or two. We will have to wait for the infections to peak. So I think it will be about June or July. And then post that will be a period of consolidation. And one heartening thing to look about India is that even though the total number of cases in India are almost equal to the number of cases in UK or in Spain, but the mortality rate is much, much lower. While they got a 10% mortality rate, we have actually been only recording a 3% mortality rate. So I think the outlook for India is reasonably strong, and countries all across the world, including in Africa and Latin America, they're all looking prospectively at a July opening up. So I think we will see an opening up which might, even if it is phase-wise, which might be much faster than we thought it would be.
Mr. Goyal, what is your success mantra you would like to advise to the trade?
Since the beginning of civilization, only those species have survived who have adapted themselves to change. Similarly, we in the tourism and travel industry, if we have to survive, we have to change. Because even after the vaccine is discovered, it will take at least 1 year for the vaccine to be, people to be inoculated and vaccination certificates to be there so that people can start international travel. So at least for 1.5 years, there will be no international tourism, but only what will happen is nearby tourism, where people can go in their own cars in a very secluded manner. Or what we are also trying to do is having private air charters to go to certain tourist destinations like religious places or Char Dham, because people will not like to travel on public transport. So what we as the tourism and travel industry have to do, every travel agent, every tour operator has to find out what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are. First is we have to cut down on all our expenses and limit ourselves to only the very, very essential expenses. And we have to reinvent ourselves. Earlier days, people wanted to read and write, but reading and writing is nothing now. You have to go electronic, technology is there, and you will have to depend more on technology, and you will have to focus on those things in which your expertise is there. For example, if you are expert in religious tourism, you focus on religious tourism. If you are expert in adventure tourism, focus. But medical and health tourism and things related to medical and health supplies are something which people in this industry can look at, because we have distribution network, we are very hardworking, and we are sales-oriented people. So I think we have to reinvent ourselves. We have to look at new opportunities, and I have hope and confidence that this is an industry which is inhabited by the toughest people in the world. And when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And I also believe that every dark cloud has a silver lining. There is light at the end of every tunnel. So this should also be over. One is we need to think positively. We need to think out of the box. We need to reinvent ourselves. We need to utilize our existing infrastructure to diversify. We need to do multitasking, and those of us who are employed need to hang on to our employment, because there is going to be a lot of unemployment and there will be no new jobs.
Mr. Nazir, what's your advice to trade friends?
With my suggestion and advice to all my entrepreneur friends and staff members are, look at the neighboring markets. Look at your neighbor and whether we can attract them for a holiday to our own destinations inside our states, or inside where we are living, or inside or the nearby resorts and nearby hotels and nearby destinations. So domestic tourism is the present answer to promote tourism, and to begin with, and then we can expand our activities in the outbound tourism to neighboring countries, neighboring states, and also attract people from neighboring districts and neighboring states and neighboring countries to our own destinations. So that's the only way we can move forward and build up our business and slowly move forward and be successful. See, look at years back when we started our business activities, it was a zero start. At that time, we did not have any knowledge or we did not have much experience. Tourism might not be in the same situations like in the previous situations, but we need to rebuild our business from zero level. But today we have the advantage of knowledge and we have the advantage of experience. Based on that, even if we start as a zero level, we can slowly and probably, quickly build up with our experience and knowledge and focus. So the entrepreneurs have to be focused, positive, and creative to come out with new ideas and new packages and new offerings to attract our neighbors and friends and families to have a holiday. It cannot happen easily, but we have to take a lot of effort. That's why I'm saying, we have to have a mindset of zero start, so that we know that it's not going to be easy, but we will, with a lot of determination and positivity and optimism, we can rebuild our business. And tourism professionals, I always believe that very, very passionate people. It's not like any other industry. And we have survived in many such kind of past situations, so we can survive far better, even in this crisis situation. With confidence, we have to move forward along with our experienced staff members. So the different ideas are there to promote domestic tourism. Also, the financial institutions are ready to give, soft loans for building up your businesses through the MSME sectors, which has been supported by RBI and Government of India. Even though there has not been a particular package which has been announced by state governments or central governments, we still have to find out our own ways to get the support from these banking institutions to rebuild our business, because most of us have probably exhausted with our incomes and reserves in the last 3 months, which we have spent for our survival.
Mrs. Barar, this program is targeting to the Punjabis in US and Canada. So what's your message to the audience?
Good afternoon, namaskar, sat sri akal. And I will also add Ji Ayanu. It is so nice to talk to everyone, partly in English and partly in Punjabi. ਤੇ ਬੜੀ ਛੇਤੀ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਜੁੜੇਗੀ। ਹਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਰਚੁਅਲੀ ਜੁੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ, ਫਿਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਚੱਲ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲੀ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਔਰ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਨੀਅਰ ਡੀਅਰ ਵਨਸ ਤੋਂ ਮਿਲਣ ਵੀ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਹਣੀਆਂ ਸੋਹਣੀਆਂ ਥਾਵਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਔਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਹੀ ਸੁਨੇਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੀ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਛੇਤੀ ਇਹ ਕੋਵਿਡ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ ਤੇ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਓ, ਆਪਣੇ ਵਤਨ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ ਔਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਬਾਹਰ ਰਹਿਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਓ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁੰਦਰ ਦੇਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਰਸਾਓ ਔਰ ਦਿਖਾਓ।
New normal, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ new normal, so what new normal he can expect when he's coming back to India?
देखो सब तो पहली जिहड़ी चीज़ हैगी है भी जिहड़ी उन्हें रिसर्च करनी है इंडिया आउण तो पहला टिकटां दी ਉਹ ऑनलाइन ही करेगा ਅੱਗੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਲੋ ट्रैवल एजेंट ਕੋਲ चले गए ਹੁਣ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਨਾ ਚਾਹੋ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲੀ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਡਿਸਟੈਂਸਿੰਗ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ ਆਪਣੀ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਵੀ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤੇ ਬੁਕਿੰਗ ਵੀ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ 'ਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਪ੍ਰਤੀਸ਼ਤ ਲੋਕ ਤਾਂ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਵੀ ਇਹੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ तो ਹੁਣ ਉਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਧੇਗਾ द यूज ऑफ ऑनलाइन बुकिंग्स ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਲਾਈਟ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਤੇ 에ਅਰਪੋਰਟਸ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੋਕਾਲਸ ਨੇ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਡਿਸਟੈਂਸਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿਰ ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਖੜ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਹੁਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੂਰ ਖੜੇ ਹੋਣਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਤੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਸੈਨੀਟਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਬੋਟਲਸ ਪਈਆਂ ਜੈਲਸ ਪਈਆਂ we must make sure that our hands are washed and that we must make sure that we keep using the sanitation gels and we must wear the mask because these are the kind of protocols that will come so these will become the new normal or ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ flight ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਚੜੋਗੇ then there will be certain amount of sanitization that airlines will be putting through I think in fact I would like to use this platform to remind everybody that not only should we leave it to the governments or the agencies to make sure that the world is safe for us, but it's our responsibility as responsible travelers that we must aid and assist the agencies by not creating a mess. If I know that it's important for me to wear a mask, just wear it. So these kind of new normals. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਪਹੁੰਚੋਗੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ airports we are geared to receive you. There is enough education that we have given to all our ground staff. They know how to receive you in the new normal. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਥਾਂ ਥਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ sanitization ਵਾਸਤੇ there will be bottles where you can just rub it on your hands. You can go to the washrooms and use water and soap. And at the immigration lines also the distancing will be provided for. So, and the staff will be there to just gently remind you in case sometimes we forget, right? We've lived in a particular manner all our life and suddenly therefore changing patterns is going to be hard. So we will be there to gently remind you that this is what you need to do in the new normal. And we'll try and reduce the paperwork as much as we can in the given situations. And when you come out, our facilitators, the guys at the conveyor belts, all of them have also been educated. The bags that shall be brought to the conveyor belts, everything will go through processes of sanitization. The taxi, the bus drivers, everyone has been educated. India has already given out all the operational guidelines to the different stakeholders to create a confidence in the travelers that each of these people who are kind of the human chain in providing services to you ਮੇਰਾ ਇਹ ਮੇਰੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਇਹ ਸੋਚ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਭਰਾ ਭੈਣ ਬੱਚੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੂਜੀ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ ਜੰਮੇ ਹੋਏ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੋ ਪਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਹਜੇ ਵੀ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਟ੍ਰੈਡੀਸ਼ਨਸ ਇਨਕਲੂਡਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰਾਂ 'ਚ ਰੋਟੀ ਵੀ ਬਣਦੀ ਹੈ ਬੜੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਰੋਟੀ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਸੀ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ and the value of home cooked Indian food, the value of doing so many things ਆਪਾਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਬਾਹਰ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਬਰਫ਼ ਪਈ ਹੋਵੇ ਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ 2 ਵਾਰੀ ਨਹਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ so these are the kind of values that are actually very important in the post COVID world, just hygiene. So I think there are so many things ਔਰ ਇੰਨਾ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੜੇ important brand ambassadors ਹੋ ਔਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਵੀ brand ambassador ਹੈਗੇ ਹੋ because all of you have done so well for yourselves in foreign lands. You have adapted so well to living in very, very different circumstances and each of you has done so well. That itself shows कि ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿੰਨੇ strong ਹੈਗੇ ਆ as people, ਕਿੰਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ adaptive ਹੈਗੇ ਆ. And I think these are the values that we should be showcasing to the rest of the world. और बड़े ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਖਰ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਓ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦਿਖਾਓ ਆ ਕੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਰਿਸਪੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਵੱਡਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕੇਅਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵੀ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਰਾਤੀ 12 ਵਜੇ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਆ ਜਾਏ ਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਭੁੱਖਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਜਾਣ ਦਾਂਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੱਲਾ ਗਲਾਸ ਪਾਣੀ ਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੁੱਛਾਂਗੇ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਫਟ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜਵੈਨ ਦਾ ਪਰੌਂਠਾ ਹੀ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਾ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਦਈਏ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਤਾਂ ਖਵਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਹੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਥੀਸ ਆਰ ਵੈਰੀ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਹੌਸਪਿਟੈਲਿਟੀ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਦੈਟ ਵੀ ਹੈਵ ਜੇ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਘਰ ਕੋਈ ਆਏਗਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੈਸੇ ਵੀ ਖਾਲੀ ਹੱਥ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣ ਦਾਂਗੇ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਨਿੱਕਾ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਫੜਾਈਏ these are small things but I think they create so much human value and ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਹ ਇੰਡੀਅਨਸ ਹੋਣ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਈ ਚਾਂਸ ਕਦੀ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਸਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਜੰਮੇ ਪਲੇ ਮੌਕਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਇਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰੋ ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਲੋਕ ਹੈਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰੋ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਸਟਰੈਂਥਸ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ as a country, as a civilization, as a people.
Thank you very much, all panelists. Thanks. Keep watching Travel World for latest news, views, and updates of Travel World with me, Anil Sharma.